Alrighty, so we are sitting down for another one-shot review. Today the movie that I went and saw was Dumb Money. I was able to see it, unfortunately, at the AMC that I don't like going to, but that's okay. I got some popcorn and an ice machine was working fine, all that. So, recipe for success. There were actually more people at this movie than I thought, but I guess today is Saturday, so maybe that's kind of like people actually are going back to the movies or something. I don't know. But yeah, this movie, Dumb Money, it stars Paul Dano and I think the name's like Shailene or something. You guys know, like that girl from American Teenager and Divergent and all that kind of stuff. But this movie follows basically a historical, dramatic comedy sort of retelling of the events of the GameStop short squeeze and that whole debacle. And I think, ever since I started doing this video series, I've been talking about the trailer for this movie every time I see it, just being like, God, I cannot believe that they were able to turn a movie around on this thing this fast. Let alone, I started reading in articles just before I went to see the movie. Like, I don't normally look up any reviews or anything, so that's not necessarily the case, but just, stuff about the movie, and they said it was based on a book, which is just, again, like, who wrote this book? How did the events of what's going on, like, literally in the movie, they flashed the date 2021 on the screen, and, we're only in 2023. But regardless, the movie is kind of made in such a way where you follow the perspective of Roaring Kitty, or otherwise known as Deep Effing Value on Reddit, the guy who originally posted the thesis on Wallstreet Bets about why he thinks that, GameStop would be a great investment opportunity and stuff like that. And, I think the movie actually, despite me thinking it wouldn't, paints a pretty good picture of how things kind of went down with obviously a little bit of like Hollywood sprinkled on top of it. But so it follows his story as kind of the main perspective, but we also get to see sort of the perspective of people that are consuming his content online or just hanging out on Wall Street Bets. And they even flash like a bunch of Wall Street Bets type memes and things like that, which I don't know if they actually pulled the memes or if these are recreations or something like that. But there you go. It was also pretty funny because they had some scenes in there where they were attempting to record like a dramatization of what would be, these CNBC interviews that we would later see in real life and stuff like that. And they even had the host, like my bad, because I used to watch CNBC a lot, so my bad, I don't know the host's name, but they literally had the guy that's like always running the morning shows talking to Seth Rogen's character, who plays the head of Melvin Capital, like before the meeting, being like, hey, is it all right? We heard you're about to go bankrupt. What's going on with this? And it's hilarious to me because if you're that guy, like they must have contacted you to film that scene somewhat like maybe a year after the actual thing happened. And, it must be weird, just saying. But anyway, the movie follows the perspective of different people. So on one hand, we have like these two lesbian college students. On the other hand, we've got this nurse played by the same lady that's like the mom in the Barbie movie and stuff like that. For some reason, her name's escaping me, but she's in a lot of stuff. She's in that one TV show. You get the vibes. So she's a nurse during COVID, and they also have Pete Davidson's like his brother, and there's this guy that actually works at GameStop that I don't know if I would describe it as like he hates working there, but he doesn't like his manager at least, and his manager is played by the one kid from the movie Chronicle that is like the main dude who's getting abused by his dad, and then I think he's also in that movie that flopped about not like Ender's Game, but some other name. I don't know. I forget, but you know the guy. You know what I'm talking about. Like, we're on the same page. Anyway, which I just thought that was interesting. So I literally pulled my Chronicle Blu-ray downstairs this week. I haven't watched it yet, but I was planning on doing a video for you guys and talking about kind of the DVD I have has both the normal and the director's cut, and the director's cut kind of sucks. But that's a story for when we get there. But anyway, this movie, I'm not going to really talk through it. There's no point to talk through the events of the movie. It obviously shows what happens between, him starting the thesis, getting into buying it, everybody being like, that's crazy, the stock actually moving, and then the short squeeze happening, and Robinhood stopping the ability to buy the stock or to even just trade on the stock, which is just still so crazy. And all of the hedge fund madness that happens behind the scenes, and Melvin Capital getting screwed for overplaying their hand on these shorts above 100%, stuff like that. Hopefully you guys are aware of that story. If not, look it up, I guess. It was a pretty interesting thing that happened, but just to get past that, since we already know what's going to happen in the movie, let's get into the things that I like, things I don't like. One thing that I liked about the movie is I liked the structure and the format, which I'm guessing is the way that it kind of was in the book. I heard that they changed out some of the perspectives for people that were maybe more, I don't know, like better suited. Like apparently the nurse mom is supposed to be a big Trumpster in real life, but the only time they mention that is the one character that works with her is like, oh, well, you were just showing me paintings of Trump on horseback and stuff the last time you were on Reddit or whatever. So it was like kind of a funny joke, but I think they sanitized some of the characters, but who cares? It's not really important to their sort of position in the story. So I like the way that they did that, where they showed multiple perspectives, and the main perspective you get is of the one dude who kind of created the thesis. That actually kind of makes me happy, because what it almost also shows is the kind of ability of anyone to change the way that things are, or the ability for that to happen. That's kind of exciting for me. So I like the way that they did the perspective. I like the way that they did the perspective of the hedge fund guys, because in reality, they did not paint them to be these super evil individuals. They just painted them to be, people that are in a privileged position, and they're trying to keep hold of it, right? And I think it's funny because in the beginning of the movie, you see Seth Rogen's character like bitching some dude out on the phone about trying to get his own personal tennis court made. And then you later on in the movie basically see him taking crap from all of his social media media trainers, telling him how he should conduct himself at this congressional hearing and stuff like that. So I like the way they did the perspectives. I like the way they showed the hedge fund guys, because they still made them look like scumbags, but it wasn't like, you should go fight them, because that's really not what it is. It's really like, these guys just are exploiting the way that the world is, and they don't care the morality of it, and they got caught with their pants down, which is absolutely possible. And the fact that they were able to rig the game again to make it so that the damage that was caused when they got caught with their pants down wasn't as bad as it should have been is, kind of annoying, but that's just the way the world is, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, it's, trying to keep it close to the movie and not my philosophical ideas. I like the way that the acting was done. Paul Dano did a good job of just playing this normal guy. And I actually just remember her name, Shailene Woodley, right? That's her name, right? She actually did a really good job of playing like this sort of normal person. I don't know how to explain what I mean by that, but I'm sure when you see the film, you'll get what I'm saying. Pete Davidson plays your typical like dumbass brother figure, but he also does a good job of being kind of the comedic relief at times. And then then that's the other thing, is when they did the different character pieces where they're going around and looking from these different perspectives of the event, it was interesting. Some of them were fleshed out in a way that was kind of nice, where maybe the lesbian college students was probably the least explored one because they just kind of showed that they were really on the social media game and stuff like that. But the one with the guy that worked at GameStop, you kind of show him going home that night and talking to his parents that he still lives with, and them kind of trying to help him not make mistakes with the money he just made and stuff like that. I guess they don't really help him do anything, but you know what I'm saying. Like they're trying to give him advice or whatever. It was a cool scene. I just want to say that, you know, above all, I think there's other things I could say I like about the movie, but to keep this short, it was a very good attempt at doing the type of movie that records this event in history and makes it entertaining to watch, and not like a historical retelling, but you know, it's just like anything else. Like people still probably watch The Big Short, and that's obviously the thing that they're kind of targeting with this. But on top of that, you know, any other movie that does this kind of like fast and loose dramatization of a real event but keeps it very close, it just did a great job at doing it. Do I think that the movie is like so great, everybody needs to see it, oh my gosh, it's the greatest movie of the summer, even though it's not the summer anymore? No, obviously not, but I think that it was funny, and they were able to play into the strength of like the Wall Street bets, and they didn't downplay the ridiculousness of it, and I love that because it would have been so convenient for them to not do that, but they didn't, and it really does help build a full picture of how funny some of this stuff was with like them calling themselves apes and R words and all that kind of stuff. I just think they really did a good job of trying to keep the spirit of the actual event in the movie rather than like kind of Hollywoodizing it. So, you know, that's really my feel. There's not a whole lot to talk about with a movie like this. I think that, you know, if you're into movies like this, like you like The Big Short, or you like seeing Wall Street get screwed, and you like those feel-good stories of the David and Goliath stuff. I mean, this is a real-life David and Goliath story that actually happened, not, you know, less than 3 years ago. So, with that being said, if I'm plugging this into the system, I'm going to say, I always say this, but I just feel like it keeps being more true and more true. If you watch the trailers of this movie and you think that you would like it, it is worth it to go see it in theaters. The trailers aren't lying to you. It looks like a good movie. It is a good movie. It's fine, you know. But if you don't, you're like, kind of apathetic towards it, don't go see it in theaters. Just wait and watch it on streaming, because I guarantee it'll be on streaming in, you know, it might even be like a Netflix movie for all I know, but I guarantee it'll be on streaming in the next 3 months or something, so maybe just hold off. But if you're really into this, if you follow this event closely and you like going to the movies, maybe go see it, especially if you're one of those psychopaths that was literally in the thick of it. Then you also probably invested in AMC, so maybe you have an obligation to go to the movie anyway, like to go to AMC, you know. But yeah, and then with that being said, I think I'll give this movie a strong 3. I think it does a really good job of retelling the events. It doesn't do anything to damage like the reputation of the movie, like doesn't mess with the historical events, and they even show the actual real life clips that they were sort of modeling or mirroring as the movie's credits play. I think it was good. Obviously, it's just not the type of movie that would ever tick up into a 4, but I really liked it at a strong 3, and I think if you're interested, you should go see it. Now that I've kind of given the review out of the way, if you're still here, then you could hear my rant for a second. One thing that I really like about this movie is that it goes to show you how much power the individual has, at least in America, but I would, reckon like the world. This is your true David and Goliath story in real life, and to be honest, I really wish that we could see more stuff like this. There's no reason why we have to accept the fact that the world that we live in is rigged behind, lobbying and all this different crap. It's like, it really just takes a movement of people who want to do the right thing, who want a better future for society, to actually make stuff happen. And this is such a goofy story to kind of get that message from, just because of the reality of it being Wall Street bets and this crazy short squeeze in GameStop and just the absolute pandemonium involved in all of it. But it is a real life story. We know this happened. We know it's possible. It's absolutely possible to happen again just by the nature of like Murphy's Law, right? So anything that can happen will happen, type of thing. So I just leave you guys with that parting message of whatever dream you got stored up in your head, if whatever reason you think that it's not possible, whatever hand you've been dealt, what have you, yeah, I mean, the world can be a very depressing, soul-crushing place at times, but the indomitable human spirit is real, and whatever you want to do, there's probably a way you can do it. And if it also comes at the behest of, well, not the behest, if it also comes with the result of screwing over these people that are taking advantage of everybody else, then that's pretty cool too. So anyway, those are my thoughts. We gave it a strong 3. Go see it if you want to see it. Wait for it if you don't care. And that's it. Subscribe down below if you've made it to this point. Like the video if you've made it to this point. And I actually got my first 2 dislikes over 2 different videos recently. And I'm just disappointed because I thought I told everybody, if you're going to dislike one of my videos, you have to leave me feedback in the comments section so I know why you dislike the video, or I know why you disagree with me, or I know, what. You cannot just leave a dislike and not do that. That's just weird. That's like absolutely weird behavior, because now you're sitting there being mad about something I did as a goof. And, I just want to help you, So let me know what that feedback's going to be if you're going to throw me a dislike. But that's the video. That's all I got to say. I'll see you guys on the next one.